Pregame.com.
Welcome back to pregame.tv. Sunday NFL action. We're going to look at Green Bay at Baltimore. Ken, we're going to try to keep our streak going here with the videos. I had my first losing week last week here on the videos. We went 1-2 with my 3 videos. Brings our record to 12-5-2 for the season, this football season. So I'm happy with that overall, but I'm never happy with a losing week. So we got to get back on track this week. And I got a game here. We've got Green Bay at Baltimore. I think I'm actually, you look at this total and it seems, maybe it's a little bit high. But given the climate and landscape of the NFL this season, I think I'm actually getting a little bit of a benefit on this total because Green Bay played such a low-scoring game last week.
Yeah, and they did that with Megatron, of course, being out of the game about an hour and a half before the game. Detroit let everybody know that Calvin Johnson wasn't going to play. And then, you had the James Jones touchdown, which would have been a second one, where the second foot actually landed out of bounds, so they took that off the board. Could have been a lot more points in the game. Yeah,
and I think it was a great spot for Green Bay because they were coming out of the bye week, so they had 2 weeks to prepare for a division rival, a team that you play twice a year, very well. They game planned to, take strengths away from Detroit, which absolutely got much easier when Megatron was, late scratching the game. So it was a situation, it all worked out great for Green Bay. And that game, we hate to use the term, but, talked about it on a few of the radio shows I did last week. Green Bay was in a must-win situation last week. It was only week 5 of the NFL, but if they would have lost last week to Detroit, they would have been 3 games behind Detroit, and Detroit would have had a tiebreaker, in essence making it a 4-game lead, and you're only in the 5th week of the season. That was an absolute. They had to have that game, and they played like their backs were to the wall.
No doubt about it. And then, of course, you throw in that now Detroit hasn't won in the state of Wisconsin in 22 years since 1991. It's ridiculous. But, yeah, it is a game that Green Bay needed. And if you were fortunate and had the game in there, which I did and I know you did before Megatron was announced that he wasn't there, you got a great number. You were feeling good. Now, it was only 6-0 in the first half, and you're saying, like, where's this Green Bay offense? Let's go. Stop squandering opportunities. They finally got it up to 22-3, and then Detroit scored 1 for 2, didn't get it, and then lo and behold, you're thinking, oh my gosh, if they get the onside kick and score again, they're going to cover the number. But Green Bay recovered, and you had it. But again, Detroit without Megatron, you see how they're a different team, especially after losing Burleson.
Yeah, and going back to the bye week scenario, we've talked about the bye week, and ever since they've installed the bye week, I've been a firm believer that if you go into the bye week on a bad note, you're more likely to come out of the bye week on a good note, and vice versa. If you go in on a good note, you're all fat and sassy, everything's going good. That week off is a vacation. It's a reward, and sometimes you lose that edge. I mean, I've always been a firm believer. The last thing you want when you're on a streak is not to play. You don't want to lose that momentum that you have built up. And Green Bay definitely went into the bye week off of that, gut-wrenching loss against Cincinnati the week before, which I was happy with because I was on Cincinnati, might have got lucky, whatever, but I'll take it, because we're always on the wrong side of those type of games. So when you win one, it feels good.
Shut up, I was on the wrong side of it.
But it was a situation that, Green Bay definitely was focused in. You saw that last week. Now we move to play Baltimore this week, and Baltimore got a game they needed last week. They got back to basics. They ran the ball, I believe, 40 times last week.
Ray Rice looked like Ray Rice.
Which, again, that's what they need to do to be successful. But when I make it official, I'll tell you why I don't think you'll see that. So anything you want to add before I send it to making it official?
No, the reason I wore purple is because I knew Baltimore was going to be in your play. I just want to get that in there.
Okay, now, and if you've watched all of the videos we've done, there's three videos that he said, he pulled the purple out there and made a reference. And I said to him, well, I thought you were in mourning for the Minnesota Vikings for signing Josh Freeman, but that's a whole nother video. But, hey, let's make this one official.
Let's do it.
All right, as I alluded to, Baltimore got back to basics last week. They ran the ball with Ray Rice. Well, they were playing a team that they could do that against. Miami wasn't going to stretch the field on them and get separation and force Joe Flacco to have to move the ball downfield. They were able to play a grinded-out type of game, and that's what Baltimore needed. But they're not going to get that this week. Aaron Rodgers is going to test this Baltimore defense, and the Baltimore defense has given up points. Only Cleveland and Houston failed to score 23 points or more. The Cleveland game, well, that was when they still had Weeden at quarterback, second week of the season. In that offense, there was no offense in Cleveland. Houston, we talked about them in the other video. They put up impressive stats, but they're not scoring the points. So something wrong in Houston. But the other teams they played, the other three, all had no problem scoring. They scored 23 or more points against them, and now they're going to face an offense with Aaron Rodgers that will send the ball downfield. When they send the ball downfield and score, that's going to force Baltimore to have to answer. I think this game's going to have a much faster pace than you saw last week with both teams, and as I said, we've got a total based on the low-scoring game of Green Bay last week that I think we're getting the benefit of the number because of that. We've seen games going into the 50s, no problem this season. And this is a game that I think will score 54 points or more. So looking at the total that we have right now, I think we've got a bargain with it. I like Green Bay. They're going to force this Baltimore team downfield. They'll score their points, but I also like the Baltimore. If Joe Flacco has to answer, he's going to be able to do that. I'm not impressed with the Green Bay defense. Yeah, they held up Detroit last week, but they had 2 weeks to do it and no Megatron. Be a different story this week. I'm going to take the over for our play this week. That's going to wrap up this week's videos, Ken. Everybody can catch you, SportsX Radio, Monday through Friday here in Las Vegas, 7 to 9.
7 to 9 a.m., 7:20 if you live outside the area. Also have an affiliate, AM 1100 KFNX in Phoenix. But if you're outside the area, just go to sportsxradio.com. Or you can pick up the broadcast as well at pregame.com. They got them all chopped up there. And I'm looking forward to another great week, pal.
All right.
Good football week. I'm going to get back on track, college, because like I said, struggled for the first time. But I will tell you another thing as far as the handicappers on pregame.com. And at least I know Marco and myself because I follow his plays as well. But if you stick with us throughout the season, throughout any season that we handicap a sport, more than likely you are going to make money. I know this guy's track record. It's not just from a season. It's from year after year after year doing it. There's a reason that R.J. Bell lets you in on the team, so to speak. And it basically, a lot of you guys out there, you're going to play somebody 1 week and like, oh, this guy had a terrible, he was 2-3. I lost money. And look at the next week, you didn't play him, and he was 5-0. So, again, it's not easy, but I will tell you that the man hours that we put in, it's not just stuff we're throwing up there hoping it sticks to the wall. You're getting educated plays that there's a lot of studying and a lot of science that goes into the whole thing.
Absolutely. And one thing that with the videos, Ken, that I take pride in when we do these videos, you know, not only do we give them picks, but we give them in-depth analysis, and we let them inside our minds of how we handicap games and what we look at. I look at these videos as not only free pick videos, but teaching videos. And, you know, they're so valuable in that. And I hope everybody appreciates it. I appreciate doing it with Ken Thomson.
No doubt.
Next week, we're going to have a treat for you. We're going to have the third seat filled next week. We're going to go with a three-man booth next week. Brian Leonard's going to be joining us on our panel. It'll be Brian, Ken, and myself. Boy, that's going to be, you're going to be the rose between two thorns, buddy.
Well, please tell me I'm not sitting bitch. Huh? What the hell's going on? Give me the shotgun, man. What's going on, man? Driver?
We got to put the skinny guy. We got to put the skinny guy in between the two fat guys. Come on.
Dang it, man. I've seen that Deliverance show. I'm out of here, man.
All right. Hey, guys, have a great week. Best of luck. Don't forget the Tuesday crew, Vegas runner Steve Fezzik and Brady Cannon joins that panel. You can check them out on Tuesday nights. They'll be up at pregame.tv. We'll, of course, be up Wednesday night. Have a great week, guys. Cash lots of tickets.